This secluded valley in northern New South Wales hosts the home and workshop of Chris Wade.
I have a knack for solving problems, whether it's a mechanical problem, electrical problem, a software problem, even a physics problem.
Chris Wade's skill brought him astronomical success, but also a criminal conviction.
What I did was not right, and if I could fix it, I would, but at the same time, all of my missteps put me where I am today.
Chris Wade's exceptional skills were honed at the side of his father, Peter, during a DIY childhood.
My dad got me interested in electronics very early on, and I had a Commodore 64, and that kind of was the start of me working on computers and robots.
We used to go to the local dump and he'd bring home all the electronic stuff he could find. This is when he was, 4 or 5. And he'd pull it all apart and make things work and, play around with stuff. And, he was into high voltage before he was even 10.
Aged 21, he moved to the United States, where his talents were spotted by those looking to make fast money.
A guy that I knew approached me and said, could you write a piece of software that allowed me to proxy through other computers? And I said, yeah, easy, no problems, a couple of $1,000, I'll do it. And he took the software and plugged it into a spamming engine.
The spam emails promoted financial scams.
He ran a business that hosted things, and he just knowingly allowed spammers to operate, so to give them a place to function. It really is, essentially kind of, if you wanted to say a spammer was like the mob, this would be like he owned the nightclub that allowed them to meet.
In 2005, in Dallas, Texas, armed Secret Service agents stormed Wade's basement and charged him with federal felonies. He was convicted of 7 offences and faced immediate deportation.
My plan is just to screw it in with the strap on it, and hopefully it works. What do you reckon?
Well, what could go wrong with a 3-ton robot?
But Chris Wade was an asset to authorities. He's a lateral thinker with rare technical skills.
Did you build it?
No. It actually used to be a welding robot for a car company, so now it's got a new lease on life.
His repurposed robot can lift farm equipment and mix a drink, eventually. In 2005, US authorities realised they had an exceptional talent on their hands.
They gave me an option, is I could help them with cases that they struggled with where they didn't have the technical know-how to solve the cases, and in exchange my time would be cut down.
New York FBI agent Chris Tarbell began tapping Wade's expertise.
Chris was the go-to guy. If some technical question came up in some sort of strange investigation, he would be my go-to. I'd ask him, and everything I'd ask him to do seemed kind of stupid to him.
For years, the reformed hacker helped Tarbell on cases including the Silk Road drugs marketplace and the anonymous hacking group. In return, he could build his career in the US, eventually founding a cybersecurity company. Software he developed helped authorities crack into suspects' devices.
Cell phones have become kind of like the storage locker of our lives, right? We put our messages, our pictures, our calendars, email, everything in them. So if you imagine if you have criminal investigations and you can't get into the phones, it hinders them immensely.
But the threat of deportation remained.
Do I have any chance of getting a real job again? Is there going to be a background check that says, oh, this person has all these felonies, and that's always going to follow me around?
His redemption began with a sick fish called Jemmy. A fish specialist came to Wade's Florida home to treat Jemmy and was awestruck. He made an introduction.
The fish doctor came over and saw all the fish tanks I had and said, "There's only one other person in the world that I know that's as crazy about fish as you are." And he introduced us, and that was Ike.
It turned out fellow fish enthusiast Ike Perlmutter was the chair of Marvel Entertainment, a member of the Mar-a-Lago Club and connected to Donald Trump. Ike suggested his new Australian friend could petition Trump for a pardon.
I think the way that pardons work is that there's so many, I think between 40 and 80,000 applications a year. You need a sponsor, someone to advocate for you.
I more than happily wrote a letter to President Trump telling him how great Chris had been. Yes, he had made mistakes in his youth. As he'd grown up, he realized, those were just misguidings of the youth, and how much he had helped the country.
In December 2020, Wade was granted a presidential pardon.
They treated me unbelievably, and I really appreciate that they did that for me, because it changed my life.
At Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump introduced Wade to Elon Musk. The world's richest man has since called on the Australian.
Sometimes they bring me in on things to help.
Has the president done that as well?
Yes, in the past, yes.
Last year, US company Cellebrite bought Wade's cybersecurity business.
How much did you sell it for?
300 million Australian.
And is that all going to you?
Some of it goes to me, some of it goes to employees, some of it goes to investors, and some of it goes to the taxman.
Now free to travel to and from the US, Wade has returned to the Northern Rivers, where in December he bought Murwillumbah's Riverview Hotel for $17.8 million.
Yeah, I actually poured all these beers.
Where are the supercars and the supermodels?
We'll have a super pub with a super view.
As well as his pub work, Wade is Chief Technology Officer of Cellebrite, the firm that bought his company. It doesn't leave much time for sleep.
I feel like at some point you realize that it's no fun in just sitting around all the time. It sounds fun. You sit around for 5 minutes and you're like, all right, let's go do some things.